The grass is greener where you water it? I don't know if you've ever heard this phrase before. It's one which is a slight tweak to one which you may have heard before, which I did a whole video on about greener pastures. Now, what I wanted to invite you to do, or perhaps to take on board, is to examine, and I have done a whole video on this in and of itself, and I will link that focus video at the end of this video if you're interested in it. And why I wanted to title this video, "The Grass is Greener Where You Water It," is because of that video that I made about greener pastures. And essentially, the point, the focus of both of those videos is, in essence, what is it that you're focusing on? And oftentimes, I've spoken about this a lot lately, if we fall into the hypnotic trance, which is typical, it is what tends to happen if we're not consciously aware of refocusing our energies back in towards, shall we say, our dreams, our health, our focus, until or unless we are focused on ourselves. We're probably, I don't really have a good analogy for this. However, think of yourself like a watering can, except instead of having one specific little focused area of watering, you're, as we in the role-playing game community sometimes say, you're spraying and praying, meaning it's just all your energy is scattered everywhere. And the point of, again, me titling this video, "The Grass is Greener Where You Water It," is because what it's really all about is your focus. We often talk about it here in the creative space, that you have whatever it is, like 3 to 5 seconds to grab someone's attention. And I know that that's also something that we as creators are, well, if you are a true creative in the sense that really what you're here to do on YouTube is to create things, to make, whether that's to make art or literally to create content in any form, fashion. What you're putting your energy into, or what you are focusing on, is what you'll receive more and more of. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because essentially, and again, I invite you to take this on board, to try it, to experiment, as I'm often inviting you to do with your life, to adjust your focus if it needs to be, perhaps to refocus on yourself or to refocus on your goals, whether those be music related, whether that be writing a book, whether that's giving yourself the time to meditate, to allow yourself to focus, to calm your nervous system. A lot of the time, what simply happens as we go through life is that we get caught up. Instead of falling off the wagon, I guess you could say, we fall into the wagon. And before you know it, we're doing all sorts of things that aren't actually moving us forward towards our greatest, highest pathway, timeline, whatever I'm trying to say here. And so I invite you to understand, and I don't know if you've ever heard this story. I think it may be from the Bible. Don't quote me on that. Essentially, the story goes a little something like this. There's someone who's walking up a particular path every single day, and they're walking with a pot that has a crack in it, or 2 pots, perhaps. I forget exactly how the story goes, but they're walking with, I think, perhaps 2 vessels. One is a cracked pot and one is not cracked. And so every day this individual walks up this same path with these 2 pots, and the cracked pot begins to lament and feel sad that he, she, they are not able to water the pathway as luxuriously, or that they're not able to, the message is that each pot that this person carried to the top of the hill every day had its purpose. The purpose of the one that remained full was so that at the top they could water all of the flowers at the top of the mountain. And this is sort of like, not the punchline because it's not a comedic story. However, the main point of the story is that the cracked pot, despite the fact that it was feeling sad for not being able to hold its capacity until the top of the hill and thus water all of those flowers, turns out that the other pot says to them or something one day, "Look at all the flowers along the path, though, that you have grown, because you are the way that you are, because you are cracked, you're able to water all the flowers along the way." And so I invite you to look at what it is that you're focusing on in your life, and to encourage you that the greenest pasture, again, is the one you create and is wherein your focus is. So I wish you a beautiful and blessed rest of your day. If you do need support, feel free to reach out to me here at this email address, and I will see you, beautiful cats, in the next video. Namaste. Much love and stay healthy. Bye. I'm butchering this story, but love yourself enough to do something crazy like that.